guys.
Hey!
Welcome back to Tea Talks with
Meosha
and
Irina.
we're back yet for another beautiful episode. Today we would like to talk about parents.
Parents.
Parents and kids, huh? A never-ending battle.
Or
No, what I mean by that is
I was like, whoa.
parents, they play a very huge part in our growing up and our upbringing, right? And
Yes,
throughout
absolutely.
our lives, they leave an imprint, a very significant one.
1,000.
But how many people do you know that don't have any beef
With their parents?
with their parents? And I mean, it's not necessarily something that they voice.
Right.
It could be just some silent resentment.
Right.
It could be something that they've wanted to maybe share for a long time, but wouldn't because they're afraid to hurt their feelings or they're not sure how they're going to receive it and things like that, right?
Sure.
So basically what we want to talk about today is how to forgive your parents, why to forgive your parents,
Right.
and how to outgrow them, and why
Interesting.
that's important.
Okay.
So, this subject's been long overdue. I don't know why it took us this long to get to it. I think it's a very prevalent subject that everybody can relate to a certain degree. So,
Yeah.
here we are.
Here we are.
So, would you say you have anything,
Against them?
not against them? That's kind of a harsh way of putting it,
Yeah,
because I know
right.
you don't.
I don't.
But would you say that you have spoken your piece to your parents about anything that was on your heart throughout life?
Of course. Yeah. I feel like my mom and I, for sure, particularly, we have a really, and my father and I were very close, but my mom and I, it's like, it's just girls, so it's easier to kind of go to her and like talk about anything, like.
Not necessarily.
No?
A lot of girls don't get along with their moms at all.
I wonder why is that? Why that is?
Competition sometimes.
Interesting.
Because they see themselves in you and they don't like the mirror image.
Oh,
they
I
think
see.
they're different.
Okay.
Things like that.
Interesting competition. What about you?
But we're not talking about that. I'm just answering her question. Although this too ties into the subject if you think about it.
Yes.
Because yes, when moms and daughters don't get along, it's typically because one sees the mirror image of another and doesn't accept it.
Okay.
Because they feel like they are different, though they've been there. I can say that because I see a lot of myself in my daughters.
Okay.
In my oldest one especially right now. And yes, I judge a lot of her actions, but at the same time, if I really take the time to think of how I was when I was her age, not a whole lot of difference because
Right.
I too had my crazy to harness, if you will, right? So I think it comes with time. But when you look at the situation honestly
Right.
and accept your kid, I'm going to speak as a parent now, accept your kid as they are and understand that they are going to make their mistakes and they are going to
Do things that you probably don't,
yeah, absolutely
Agree
do
with.
things that I don't approve of, don't agree with and whatnot. But to me, love is all encompassing. Love is not something that you get to choose when to dole out, if you
Right.
will, right?
Yeah.
So love is not judgment. I'm not saying that I don't judge. I do.
Unconditional love, yeah.
But do I love her at the end of it all anyway?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But I want to take it a step further. I accept all that she is, good and bad, and I don't not accept her bad and just want to see the good.
Of
and say,
course.
well, when you're good, I'll treat you as my daughter. But if I see bad, don't even come near me. Kind of like that. And a lot of parents do that.
Well, sure.
They cannot accept their child for who they are, and that's why we're talking about this.
Yeah. It's a thing for sure.
Are you living your life according to your parents' agenda, how they see you, or are you living your life according to who you are?
Right.
Because those are two very different pictures.
Right.
And they are very different pictures. And as a matter of fact, my daughter, let me finish that thought, it's very important.
Yes,
My
yes.
daughter is the one who had pointed it out to me when I said, well, I had this beautiful image of you growing up and becoming this, that, the other, right? And she said, Mom, let me remind you something. You said you wanted your kids to be happy, right?
Right.
I said, yeah, you're right. Happy. My happy looks different than their happy. She's like, well, let me tell you, I am happy.
Of course. Yeah.
So you have already succeeded.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I had nothing else to say. I'm like, you know what, you're right. So my idea of what the person is going to look like, right, is not the same as, if you think about it, we as parents, you're not, I understand,
yeah.
but you can think about
can
your
totally-
parents.
Yeah, I understand.
We as parents, especially when the kid is just born, idealize that
Yes.
image of the baby, and
Yeah.
we make it so precious and so pure, which it is. But as we grow older, we start to push our boundaries, we start to test our territory, we start to figure out who we are, and it's messy.
For sure.
It is very messy. There is no ideal way about it, but we idealize it.
Right.
We see a certain picture for our kid. Ooh, he'll become, or she, a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever. We project our own unrealized potential onto them.
Very true.
That's just a subconscious thing that we do, unless you're very mindful of it. And so we tend to live through our kids, right? So, and then there's the kid who has his own idea of who he is, who has his own idea of where he wants to go in life. But the pressure of the parents sometimes is so prevalent that they do not take their own into consideration.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's just kind of like what you just said. Like my mom even said that's what happened to her growing up with her mom. She wanted to, do the basketball. She had she was really good at it. And so she presented, not basketball, but modeling as well. That she presented this idea to them, like, I want to do this. And her mom was like, no, you can't do that. You're supposed to do this and blah, 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 blah. And she had a person that wanted to sign her and everything. They were like, just get the approval and we can start you right away. And she said she kind of regretted that. She was like, man, I really wanted to, take that. But she ended up not doing that. And I was like, wow. So that's an example of something that, we're like, oh, well, if mom and dad says no, and maybe they're looking out for me.
Well, and that's, that's a very valid point. They are doing it out of love for you. They are looking out for you. They are doing the best that they know how from where they are,
right.
with what they've got.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell them that they're doing it out of malice intent. No parent, even, I'll go as far as the ones who have psychological issues, they don't do things, for the most part, I'm going to qualify that because there are exclusions to any rule, but for the most part, our parents love us the best way they know how.
Absolutely.
They give us of their resources that they have, and those could be very, very limited.
Absolutely.
Because of where they came from.
Exactly.
So you have to take that into account.
Absolutely.
So if
that's why for me, I don't take anything personally or get too uptight about something, because I understand that's something that they were taught as well. So it's not like
in this case you have outgrown them, and that's one of the key points here. How do you know when you've outgrown your parents? Is when you can freely say what Meosha just said. That, hey, I don't take anything personally because I know where they come from. They mean well. It's just they are of a different makeup. They are product of their own environment. So obviously they're going to want to do what they think is best.
Of course.
In their mind. So if you can accept that, you're already light years ahead. Because I see a lot of people, and not only in their 20s and 30s, but way beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Who still carry some sort of pain, resentment, anything that has been inflicted upon them by their parent, or at least that's how they see it, right?
Right, of course.
And they never resolve it. So why do you carry this pain in you? And granted, sometimes because the parents are no longer around. But a lot of times I'll be like, look, your parents are still around. go have this conversation.
Yeah,
Even if
talk.
you don't want to have this conversation, at least make up your own mind and forgive them for you.
But see, even in there, if people say they you know, I can give you a good example, but without saying the person's name. They were like, I forgive them. She said, I forgive them. But then you're still acting out.
Exactly.
You
Then
know? So that's not
not
really forgiveness. So I think sometimes maybe you don't have the capability to do that within yourself. You have to just go to them and say, hey, look. You know what I mean?
True.
I don't know how to get over this. I'm working on it. Because then it's like the relationship is like everyone's just like spread out. Like I'm not gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
You're not gonna talk to me unless somebody comes in the middle. But then it's like no one's gonna come.
Yeah.
Unless
It's
weird.
It's a dirty work.
It's weird.
Not. It is messy. Nobody likes to deal with things. Obviously, we know that. But let me tell you from personal experience.
Go ahead.
It does get ugly at first, but boy, does it improve the relationship. It turns it around 180 degrees.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think it's worth that, because if you are willing to deal with the mess, then the wounds are healing and you are able to live the rest of your life that's left on this planet Earth for your parents and yourself in a much healthier way.
Because it's not, you're right. It's not worth keeping that stuff then, because it's gonna, you don't want to waste your life here. You know what I mean? Just living, or just, what you said, existing. And
Well,
not actually living.
it is poison, okay?
It's
So
very
you
much poison.
re-inject, resentment is poison that you keep re-injecting or refeeding yourself
For sure.
because you don't want to deal with it in a healthy way. So yeah, you do have that option, of course. I cannot tell you how many people I had this conversation with.
Yeah.
But being able to forgive your parents really comes down to one simple fact. If you truly understand that they are a product of their own environment and that they did the best that they could with what they had, these two are already giving you so much freedom to understand they didn't do it just to hurt you. They didn't do it just to be an, bleep. Yeah. But that's their best that they had. They loved with what they could. And if you take the time to understand how their parents raised them, you will probably see the pattern and why they are the way that they are.
Right.
And that opens your eyes to so many things.
And then it's easy to say, you know what, I'm not going to hold that against you.
Exactly.
Because you're only a product of your own environment. Everyone is.
Well, but by holding that against them, you think you're punishing them.
But really,
in reality,
you're punishing yourself.
You are just punishing yourself.
Very
because
true.
you're living with that resentment, that poison that keeps just feeding you this ickiness.
Icky.
And you continue to ingest it and you're wondering why it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do yourselves a favor
Very well.
and let them off the hook for yourself first and foremost. You are not punishing them.
No.
I know it feels like that.
But they're
It's
like,
I'm gonna
they're actually
payback
happy.
is a bitch, you know?
Yeah, they're super happy and they're like,
I don't
and
think they're super happy. They know. I mean, part of them knows.
they know. But then it's like, but if they can forgive, right? And we're the ones rolling around like, well, I'm just not gonna, we're the ones
Right.
really miserable and thinking, like you said, we're,
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't. That's your parents. That's the people that brought you into this world. Like,
As a parent,
Yeah.
I know where I messed up,
of course.
but I try to humble myself enough to tell my kids, look, I know I'm not perfect. I know I've made some mistakes. But the important thing is to realize that you're at least willing to see the mistakes, accept them, and be able to grow from it and become a better version of yourself.
Absolutely.
And if I've done that, I feel like I already learned from life too.
Absolutely.
And I'm not running from it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, well, I'm a parent and you're a kid and just deal with it. Because, you're not going to get anywhere like that.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect for everyone, obviously.
It's work.
But
It's a process.
if I could do it, I promise you, any one of you can, because my relationship with my father was not the best growing up. And I had to figure out my own way to overcome my own things that have caused me pain in our relationship, right? So, but I understood that he did the best. That I truly did understand that.
Right.
And when I forgave him without even as much as saying a word to him, really.
Right.
I just made that decision for myself. I'm like, you know what? I know he does this because he loves me.
Right.
That's literally the conversation I had with myself.
Right.
I'm like, I know that my dad has the best intent in heart, the best intentions for me. He always has. He's always there for me. You know, I found all the positive things that showed me that he meant well all the time. It's just he did it maybe in somewhat of an awkward way, but he loved me. And that was enough for me to understand that whatever idea of what his love should have been like to me was not.
Right.
I let that go.
Right. Absolutely.
And when I did, like some sort of magic happens. Things started to shift for us.
For sure.
Just because I let go of that, things began to shift, and we actually found a common ground. We actually found understanding, respect, mutual acceptance, even. I mean, we still butted heads here and there, don't get me wrong, but on a deeper level, it became something absolutely different than what it was. It blossomed. It became more meaningful, deeper. So why would anybody not want to take that opportunity to make it better for themselves?
Because I think a lot of times people are just very, very, I wouldn't say selfish, but it's just like they don't want to admit. It's hard to accept that and admit, like, okay, maybe I am the problem. I should be the bigger person. And they're thinking, well, they're the parent. They're older. They should be the ones that to figure this out for me. I'm the kid, and you're like 40-something years old.
There, she said it, you guys. That's a perfect segue for me to say this. If you continue to want to treat yourself like a kid, then you have not outgrown your parents. Then yes, you're always going to be that kid. It's when you decide to take responsibility for yourself, for your life, and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm no longer a kid. Whatever happened, happened. I'm going to move on.
Moving on. That's it.
Moving on. But not moving on with, oh, I'm going to hold on to resentment. But truly moving on and letting go of all that unnecessary baggage. That's when you become an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stay kids their entire life.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
If you cannot speak to your parent as a peer, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because there comes a point where you have to kind of step over that threshold. And not everybody is able to do that for some reason. Well, I know the reasons, but I'm saying the reasons are in you.
Yeah.
And you are the one who can decide whether or not to, look them in the eye and address them.
Yeah.
So
don't hold yourself back. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Make a decision today. Make a decision now. You know what I mean? No. I really like this message. This is gonna help a lot of people, I believe. I really do. There's a lot of people I know that are dealing with this right now. So
I don't think it's so much about the message. I think it's more about somebody being able to hear it.
No, absolutely.
Because you can
say something. Oh my goodness, so many times to somebody, and they'll still never get it. But maybe it comes from somebody else.
Right. So we just
an
hope
outside source
that we put it in a way that you can hear it and, more importantly, apply it.
Yes.
Because a beautiful life awaits you.
Right.
Everyone.
Yep.
You just have to want it.
That's it.
And clean it up. Clean up your psyche. Clean up your life. All starts here.
Let's do it. Let's go. Clean up your psyche. Clean up your life. Ooh.
Okay, she likes it.
Put a pin in that.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's all.
Because you know that in our world, the better it gets,
the better it gets.
So therefore, for there.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you guys later. Have a great one.
Beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.